StumpStation episode 23. And this man has gone from bodybuilding to Hyrox to PEDs to health, changing the fitness industry and coaching here in Dubai. Joe, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be on and not talking to myself for once. I do a lot of podcast speaking to myself, so it's nice to actually have a conversation with someone.
No, well, it will be fun. It will be fun. And for anyone that doesn't know you, who are you?
So my name is Joe Cross. I have been a coach in the industry since 2020, and I've recently transitioned to becoming an educator. So I basically coach other coaches. And I like to say I coach the future of coaching, so people who will be essentially coaches in the future. On a personal level, as you've introduced, I've been a bodybuilder probably for the last 10 years, ever since I can remember, since I left college, dedicated my whole life to it. And then in the last, 18 months, I have had a crazy identity transformation, if you want to call it that. Taking a step back from bodybuilding, life has taken a massive shift in so many ways, both on a personal and business level. And then ever since that point, I've just been on this path of just education and just changing my values from how big are my arms and how do I look on stage to actually trying to make an impact in terms of the industry that I'm in. So, yeah, it's been a really good 18 months, best 18 months of my life.
No, I love that because you've gone through so much. Like you've put on social media, you've gone through a lot. But how is your life now?
Amazing. And like anyone who listens to this, if you take one thing away from it, it's like your quality of your thoughts control the quality of your life. Your thoughts control your actions over your time create your behavior patterns, and your behavior creates your identity. And I think what everyone needs in society now is that identity shift of something positive, which is how you perceive yourself. What are the beliefs that you have about yourself? And that's what I'm trying to teach people, that doesn't matter wherever you were, like 18 months ago, I was going in a really, really shit place, and I've openly spoke about it. I completely changed my life around by understanding how my mind works and applying mental performance.
And 18 months ago, you said you're going for a shit place. What was that place for you?
Oh, I'll get into this. So, yeah. So, I mean, it was recently after a step back from bodybuilding. So you've got to kind of imagine this was a period of time after however many years of bodybuilding. Everything I kind of tied my identity to, how I looked, how I felt. I valued myself purely off how big I was, how good I was on stage. Like it was my whole entire life, and I just see myself as a coach. So like taking that step back, and that was after a couple of health issues after doing the Dubai Pro. So this was going from 2023 to 2024. So that was like the one aspect, but there was so many other things on a personal level. So my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer at the time. That obviously wasn't great. And obviously being in Dubai, he was in the UK. That was just really hard because you just feel like so helpless. And obviously, even if you're there, you can't do anything, but it was a difficult time. I'd also invested in a property in the UK, basically when I left the UK for Dubai. I mean, this is an absolute story in itself, but to give you the long and short of it, it was an off-plan investment in Manchester. I put a significant amount of money down, a 25% deposit, to get a property. Didn't think anything of it. 12 months then passed, and then I was in a position whereby I needed to basically get a mortgage on this place. And because I was obviously overseas, living in Dubai, I had my own online business. I was classed as a very high-risk, person, high-risk investor. So they wouldn't give me a mortgage at this point. The only mortgage they would give me was, I think, 7% interest, something like that. So like to put it into perspective, I was paying an interest-only mortgage, and I was paying more interest than I was getting rent, never mind the service charge and everything like that. So it was like the interest was £1,700 a month, and I was getting £1,500 a month. So I was at about a negative £700 a month after service charges and fees. And after you've put, 25% of quite a high property down, it was like, it was stressful. And obviously the solicitors' transactions going back and forth. It did work out well in the end, but it was basically an absolute shambles. Really, really financially tough because the mortgage provider basically pulled the plug on the mortgage a week before. So I was running up basically bridge loan debts at that time. I was at risk of losing six-figure sum of money, which obviously wasn't ideal. At the same time, I split with my partner, who we had the business together, the house together, the dog together, and I've been with her for the best part of 4 years. We moved to Dubai together, built the coaching business together. She coached females, I coached males. So, yeah, it was identity crisis of bodybuilding, family health issues, financial issues, personal issues in terms of relationship. It was just like one thing after another. I was just getting hammered from every angle. And I hit like a really, really fucking low point of your life, as you can imagine. And then obviously after that point, it was a case of I absolutely hate the person that I'd kind of become and like the level I'd got myself to. And it was just a case of, right, you either sort this out or you don't. And like, that's how bad it got to. Unfortunately enough, I went on a crazy self-development path after that point, which, you know, has kind of led me to kind of find my purpose and what I actually want to achieve out of life. So I think it's just proof that no matter where you are, like rock bottom usually is the catalyst for something better.
That's a lot to go through, right? Like, it's not just, oh, I want to change careers.
Yeah,
it's not just,
you know, when people say like they go through a lot, it was just like I was just being hammered by everything. But I look back and I'm so grateful for it. So grateful, because like if I didn't go through that, I probably would have still been on the same path. And not that I wasn't happy, but I was in Dubai, and I'll be truthful, I hated living it. When I moved there, like I was like, I in my head, I kind of perceived it as this place, and everyone said, you move over there, you'd be happy, you'd be around amazing people, you'd be inspired and all of this. And I just felt like I was living a lie. I was like, it's not aligned to me. I wasn't living the life that I aligned to. I was comparing myself to everyone else. Look how well everyone else does. You know, you come from being a really big fish in a small pond in the UK. You come out here and you think, fucking hell, I'm nothing. And like, it's a big ego hit, ego hit. And if you're in a negative way of comparing yourself to other people, that's hard to take, I think. It's really, really hard to take. And it was just took that shift of learning to look at other people as inspiration, and learning to actually be, you know, sort of inspired by your environment, as opposed to just thinking you could always be doing better. So yeah, there was, I could go on a lot about it, but there was a lot of shifts and transitions through that period. But yeah, long and short, it was a really tough time, and it was like the turning point for you know what I'm now very grateful for.
No, it's amazing. And I think as well, like, because you're so open about you, your past, who you are now, very vocal online about it, because not many people, let alone men, are very open about who they are, what they've gone through, hard times and in life, right? And one thing that you are so open about is performance enhancing drugs. And because obviously in the bodybuilding scene, I know in the functional fitness scene, no one talks about it, but in the bodybuilding scene, not many people do.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's a little bit more open in bodybuilding, because I think everyone knows that you do it. So I think you'd almost be an idiot if you don't. I think in functional sports and things, like, it's a little bit more of a taboo subject, whereas I think you have to be open about these things, because otherwise you're just like an idiot, because you're like, evidently you are. So why are you lying about it? And that's not about, obviously, you know, speaking it in a sense of promoting it. It's just speaking about it and being open, and more than anything, encouraging safe practice, because people will often do things anyway. So it's like, if you can actually encourage people to do things safely, to monitor the bloods, monitor the health metrics, and do things from a place of like, yeah, I actually know what I'm doing. Because unfortunately, like when I started years ago, there wasn't the level of information. Make it sound like I'm really old, but like, there wasn't. You know, even 10 years ago, it was a very different place.
No, I agree. And I think as well, like in the bodybuilding scene, it's known, like if you want to be on stage, you want to be at the highest level, you have to cycle in the best way possible.
It goes hand in hand. Yeah. Like you can't compete at the level that you'd want to compete at.
Yeah.
If that is the case, do you know what I mean? It's like, if you want to be the best, are you prepared to do the things? And it's the same with any goal. It's like, you have a goal. A goal's irrelevant. Yeah. What are the sacrifices you're prepared to make to actually make that goal happen? And that is one of the sacrifices you make. It's sacrificing your health, obviously. To what extent, though? Yeah.
And then obviously that made you shift, and I think that's the best part about it, right? But I'm not really knowledgeable in this stuff whatsoever. I've never done bodybuilding. I've never done it. What were you actually like taking during like peak times to be at the best performance you were?
Yeah, so like when it was coming into like Amateur Olympia, Dubai Pro, like my last shows, which are like my first big international shows, like pro qualifiers, you know, it was everything. Like, it was a shopping list of things, you know, in terms of injectables, orals, fat burners, you know, sort of thyroid products. Like, you know, it was an extensive list. And like, I'll always be very conscious of like naming specific compounds and dosages, because you know what people are like. Like, people hear the word and it's like, right, I'll take that. And
no, I agree. Yeah, it's fine.
But yeah, like, it was a shopping list of stuff, 100%. And you know, it wasn't even seen. Like, I see it now and I look back and I'm like, it's crazy. It's crazy what you do for the sport. But at the time, it was so normal. Like, it was normalized. It was just who I was. Like, I'd done it for so many years. If you want to get on stage, like, this is the done thing. And you don't think anything of it. And it's weird how your perception changes over time.
No, I agree. And I think as well, like, in that scene, people are more open to it. Why do you think people are so reluctant to talk about it when it comes to CrossFit, functional fitness, even say Hyrox now coming up? Why are people so scared to even talk about it?
I think people still perceive it as cheating. I think until you've actually tried performance-enhancing drugs, you don't actually realise that they're not what they're made out to be. They're not the holy grail. And I think people put them on this crazy pedestal of you take them and all of a sudden you look a certain type of way. And like most people I know and most people I've coached through the process, you do it and you're like, oh, like it wasn't quite what I made out. I thought it was this magic thing that, you know, everything exploded and it doesn't. And I think that's why people, and then obviously people associate it to cheating and like, you know, it's more of the stigma that comes attached to it and like what people perceive of it. Because I think in the public eye of people who don't really know, it isn't perceived as, you know, a good thing. It's considered as a drug. It's considered as this. And, you know, I'm not promoting it in any sense, but like there's a lot of things where we all know in life, it's like it gets a bad rap. It's like you could go out for a drink on a weekend. You could have, you know, a drink, couple of drinks, be absolutely fine. Use and abuse it and drink a bottle of vodka every night, like you're going to be in a bad way. And it's the same with anything. Like the devil's in the dosage and the exposure duration that you take. So yeah, with that, I think people don't have the level of education around it because they've not used it and they don't know people. So it's kind of like the societal like stigma and norms because people don't actually have the knowledge about it, if that makes sense.
No, I agree, because I think even if you take recreational drugs, that's more normal to talk about than performance enhancement drugs, right?
And alcohol's another one. Like, alcohol is a depressant. Like, you are drinking something that physically depresses you and changes your biochemistry. But it's acceptable in society to do that. And like that, for me, that's crazy as well.
Yeah.
So it's just societal norms, I think, of what society deems as normal and what it isn't.
That's true. And I think as well, especially in the fitness scene in Dubai, right? Everyone wants to look a certain way, be a certain way. Do you think there's a pressure on why some people might take stuff to look a certain way to feel like they need to fit in here?
Yeah, I think it's definitely amplified because like people do it for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Like people don't do it from a competitive standpoint; they do it from a vanity standpoint. And I think that's a more of a dangerous place to be. And I think there is societal pressures. We all know that, like you know, with social media and everything like that. And I mean, it's a completely different topic, but there's huge societal pressures to look a certain way and be perceived a certain way. And then especially like if you're in the coaching space or anything like that, like you are your own marketing billboard. So like you want to look the best that you can be. And it's almost like if you become a coach, like you can do it. Obviously, I'm not saying every coach does it, but there's a lot of natural, you know, guys that I coach who will never do it. But yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand. And like in my circle and like my past compared to someone else's in a functional sense, it's so normal. Like it's not demonized. It's like, oh, what are you on? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, that's the kind
oh, really? So people just be like, oh, what are you doing? And then you just have a little chat about it.
Yeah. Like in the bodybuilding space, it's very, very, very open. Yeah.
Man, it's crazy because like obviously in CrossFit, for example, no one would even say anything.
Yeah.
And when you see someone who you've known train for how many years and their performance out of nowhere increases a dramatic amount, even if they're not newbie gains, right? You can't have that so long. Yeah. That's when you do question it, because if you've been training 5, 6, 7 years at this progress and then another year goes by and you've made like that exact jump again, you're like,
doesn't quite add up.
Yeah.
It's that non-linear discrepancy, but yeah, it's one of those. It's just a different, complete field, and I think it just doesn't go hand in hand. Like I said, I don't ever regret doing it, but like I look back now and like I'd never go down that path again personally. Like my mindset towards it has changed so much, and like fortunately, like I've got out of it scar-free in terms of I've got no health implications. Like a lot of people might get what we call left ventricular hypertrophy, which is like enlarging the left side of the heart, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's a muscle. Your heart is a cardiac muscle in the body, and it's got androgen receptors, so you're gonna, you know, have sometimes enlarging the heart, which people have. But like the big thing for me that was the turning point was more around the neurological side of things. Is like it does definitely not help you from a mental standpoint. And I didn't have any experience of that for my younger years. And then I think over time of, like I said, the exposure of duration, I almost think it's like filling a cup up. It's like, you know, you can take a cycle, and eventually like that cup is full. And I think that's when it starts to have like neurodegenerative like effects. And there's been studies on that in terms of brain scans. It's like a lot of people will speak openly about, you know, your lipid profile, your HDL reduction, your blood pressure increases, liver enzymes, ALT increases, all this stuff when it comes to the physiological and the blood markers. But when we actually think about it from a brain standpoint, there's huge neurological implications. And unfortunately, the brain scans aren't that accessible. Not a lot of people get them. But I would be fucking I'd be so curious to see how brain scans looked before and after. Like if I could have a brain scan of me when I started taking to the end of like what damage was actually done. And you know, since I've got crazy into mental performance, I know that the brain can rewrite itself. There's the concept of neuroplasticity, so it's not irreversible. But if I could not do it, I probably would. It's the one thing I value a lot now is my brain. So yeah, doing anything that's going to be somewhat destructive, like not for me.
Of course, like, and I think with anything, like, it's good that you are now you went on this self-development journey to activate your brain the right ways again. And was it hard to go from taking PEDs, looking on stage, looking your best, coming off completely? Because when I've spoken to other people about this, it's this egotistical look thing that I have to be looking a certain way. Yeah. Was that quite tough?
Yeah, really, really tough.
And just clarify, you don't look bad. Like, it's not like you don't look like shit. Like, you look good, you know? Yeah, but it's different.
But I was 20 kilos heavier, and people still say to me, oh, you look big. But obviously, you compare yourself like anything to the best you've ever been. Like if it was an athlete, they compare themselves. They could run a sprint in 100 meters in 10 seconds and then now do it in 12. It's like, no, I'm not as good as I was. And like that's human nature. You compare yourself to the best. But yeah, from an identity standpoint, it was really hard because when you've done something for so long, like you attach everything to it, everything. So like stepping back and then realizing that like I'm no longer. You know, like how did I perceive myself was Joe the bodybuilder, Joe the coach, like, and everything about myself around. So when you do take a step back and like that's no longer, Chris Bumstead spoke about a lot of modern wisdom recently, and it kind of makes you like reassess your values in life. And I think that's the kind of turning point I had. I was like, what do I actually value? Because you've been so consumed towards bodybuilding. And obviously I'm not fucking Mr. Olympia, but I lived like Mr. Olympia. Like I lived and breathed 6 meals a day, didn't go out for like 10 years. Like, you know, I was dedicating my whole life and existence to it. And like, there's so much of your mental bandwidth goes into it that there's very little else for values, if that makes sense. So all of your values become attached to it. So when that's then removed, it's like a rug's pull beneath your feet. It's like, okay, what do I actually value in life now? And that's when I think I had that big shift from a mental standpoint, because it made me really understand, like, right, what do I actually value? Who am I away from bodybuilding? What do I want to bring to the world? And like that's when I kind of started to think about my purpose of like education and stuff like that.
So what are your values now? What are some things that, not just what you value, but what are things that you want to start prioritizing now in your life?
I just think everyone should want to leave the world a better place than it's left. And I think that's everyone's mission should be attached to the same thing. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It's like, can I leave the world a better place than I left it? And I think if you have a mission of that's like genuinely selfless, of you're not doing it for money and all this, like, because I attached a lot to like how much I earned as a coach and all this, and moving to Dubai and that. And then like now I'm like, my whole values are towards like wealth and money. Like I couldn't give a shit. Like it's completely different. It's more about things that actually fulfill me. And like you do have to really like look inwards. I know that sounds a little bit airy fairy and deep, but you do. You have to really kind of understand like what is it that makes you tick? Like what situations do you leave in life that you leave from, and you're like, do you know what? I feel lit up inside, like that fulfills me. And that was always teaching people. That was helping people through transformations. And like when I look at my, like, you know, I've got a lot of transformations physically with people, but I sat and asked myself the question, like, who was it that gave me the most fulfillment? Like, what are the transformations that like stand out to me? You know, I think I've been like over 1,000 clients, 1,500 clients over the years. Like, which are the ones that stand out? And it was always the people that I'd genuinely been able to shift completely, like from an identity standpoint, where like it wasn't just a physique transformation where you can put a before and after, like they were a different person. So yeah, like that became my value of like, how can I do more of that? How can I make a bigger impact? And that's what led me to do the coach career, because I was like, if I can make this impact on a one-on-one basis to people, then what is the impact I could then have if I coach other coaches to coach in the way that I do? Like the snowball effect of that, the domino effect, the ripple effect, like it's massive. And like that's what I kind of set out to create. I was like, there's so many shit coaches coming in the industry, no disrespect. There's no barrier to entry. There's no filter for education. Anyone can be a coach, consultant. If you look good and you got an Instagram profile, fucking crack on.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think that's the way it should be, because it's the blind leading the blind. So for me, it was a case of, right, how can I actually make some impact of that? How big can that impact be? I don't know, but that's now my mission of like, how much of a difference can I make in the industry? And that's a very much work in progress, because it's not an easy thing to do.
No, I love it, because there's something you said there, which is so true. And there is so many shit coaches out there. They can train their ass off, look a certain way, maybe take stuff, whatever, look a certain way, and they're like, now I can coach people.
They do a little transformation themselves.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there's some coaches that started like that and are amazing. But some people that just try and make money out of the way they look. And this is probably why people want to look good for social media all the time. And I think there's a middle ground between someone that doesn't practice what they preach and is just like maybe someone that doesn't look at all, doesn't take their health seriously, doesn't really work out and looks like crap.
Yeah.
Obviously, no one's going to take that seriously, but you also shouldn't take someone seriously if they've never coached someone before and they're not even trying to give value. They're like, just give me money and I can teach you how to do this, you know?
Just showing a lifestyle. Because in the B2C marketplace, like people buy from people that they want to be like it's very different. Like in a B2B space, like business to business, people buy from other businesses that generally can give them value. Often when it comes to like coaching, people pay people because they think they can get them in shape because they want the lifestyle that they portray online. But it's a dangerous place to be, because that profile online, and it's the same for any industry. Like you are looking at a tiny keyhole in someone's life that's glamorized, filtered, fucking, all the rest of it. Like it's not a true representation. Like it's the absolute best amplified with sales and marketing. Yeah. So it's like, it's not the truth of what you're actually buying. So yeah, it's a whole topic in itself. But yeah, I want to improve the quality of coaching to as many coaches that I could possibly can.
Man, I love that, because I agree. I think for anyone that wants to get a coach out there, I think the first thing you should look for is when you go to social media, can you actually take something away from their social media and apply it to your life and make your life better in any way whatsoever you think of it? And if you can't do that, then they're not giving enough value for you to actually go buy from them, right? And I think that's where you should start, because now social media is all about value and stuff. So if you go to their profile and it's all me, I don't know, it's like a grocery list, right? I couldn't see there what you're going to get value.
100%. But that's what people are lured and buy into because they kind of hate that lifestyle and they want to be that person. And that's what it is in the B2C space. And that's why so many people are influencers who don't know their arse from their elbow are successful. Do you know what I mean? It's a crazy world that we live in that sense. And I guarantee if you ask any established coach, when was the last time you actually did some formal education on what you're actually trying to learn? I guarantee no one would say anything. You might have done a PT qual. Yeah, great. Doesn't teach you absolutely anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you've been with a business mentor. Okay, so you know how to market and sell and send some DMs. Where is your actual education to become a good coach, to deliver check-ins, to guide people through psychological change, to understand training programming, like to do check-ins properly? Like, where are you learning this? And they wouldn't have an answer. They would not have an answer. And it's like, you need to be educating yourself. Like if you are in charge of people's fucking health, mentality, you're leading their essentially lifestyle. Like you need to be good at what you do.
Yeah. And I think you said something there, which I went the opposite way of. Now I am doing a course on how to market and sell, because I never did anything of that.
Yeah.
I was more about exercise, nutrition, understanding people, leading people on that side. And I was like, well, now what do? I don't know how to sell anything.
Yeah. That's the way it should be. Like you get the foundation, and it's the whole role has been reversed now. People will intrinsically go to the money and the 10K months and the 20K. And that's the thing that I say to all my guys, like I'll never market on my profile on the coach creator, this guy's got to 10K, this guy's got to 20K. I couldn't give a shit what you earn. Like, if you're good at what you do and you change people's lives, like, you want a fulfilling job, not the job that pays you money. Like, with fulfillment and value comes the money, not the other way around. And it's like, if you just chase this never-ending cycle of, like, fucking Stripe revenue, and I'm like, great, well, like, where does it end? Like, where does your value come from? And that was the place that I was at. So, I just
I agree.
thought, you know what, like fulfillment is the biggest thing. Like a lot of people get into this with good intentions and then they just get wrapped up in it. It's like it's a numbers game. They see a client as a number. Whereas for me, it shouldn't be about that.
I agree. And I think I am someone who did get caught up in that. And very recently I spoke about on a previous podcast is like you hit a certain number and you're like, right, the next number. And it literally, I've said it before, is like a few months ago, hit the second best month we ever did. And I was like disappointed because it wasn't the best month we ever did. Yeah. And then I had to really sit back and be like, one, you'd be dreaming of having this a year ago.
Yeah.
Two, the people have made the best change ever. And okay, you want to have targets. Okay, you want to grow. But like, you got to really take a step back and forget about those things.
Look at the impact you having on such people's lives. And I had this conversation a while ago. Like, it sounds bad, but you get a WhatsApp off a client, and you just see that as a name on your thing, and you know that person. And then when you meet them in person, and you're like, this is a real person, and they're thanking you, and they're saying how like much of a benefit it's had on the family, and how much of a better dad they are, and better role model for the kids and things. You're like, every one of these people is a real person you're having a real impact on. Like, that's so powerful. Like, multiply that by however many clients you have. Like, that's massive. And the domino effect of them being a better role model or a better person at a workplace or in a relationship, and then everyone else attached to that, has a benefit and has it. Like, that's the real value. And like you said, it's just a never-ending game of chasing numbers. And the funny thing is, it's like, I mean, I live a very, live to my means. I drive the same car I bought 3 years ago. I live in an apartment that, I could afford more, but I'm not really bothered about the material stuff. And it's like, you're chasing all of this money. I'm like, what are you even doing? Because you've not got a life. You're working behind a laptop for like 18, 20 hours a day. Like, what are you doing all this for? This money, this just number on a screen. To not even have a life to spend it because you're that busy and bothered about work that you've got no life outside of it. So what are you making the money for? Yeah. And it's a really destructive place to be. And like I said, that was where I was at, and that was one of the big things that was sat alongside bodybuilding was how big your arms are, where did you place on stage, how much money did you make? Like, if you're valuing yourself off that, like, the big thing is you're valuing yourself off something that you don't actually have intrinsic control over as well. And I'm a massive believer in life of control the controllable. Like, you can't, bodybuilding, for example, is a sport that is completely, arbitrary, where you are judged and you can't control who turns up on the day. Like, you can only control what you can control. And it's like, if you value yourself off things that aren't in your direct control, you're basically saying, I have no control over how I perceive myself. I mean, that's a dangerous place to be. Yeah. So like, I think it's really important that like when we speak and come back to values, that it's always a value that's within your control, that you can measure.
I agree. And I think there's not a lot of people that are educating coaches to have this and educating people to create a better service and give more value. So how do you do that? How do you actually teach coaches to be better coaches? How do you teach them to give more value and just be better? What do you do differently to all these other gurus out there that just only care about, let's be honest, increasing the money?
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially what I built was a course, and I'd hate using the word course because I class it more as an academy. But essentially it was, how do you go from having no clients, no business, to essentially being the best coach can be? And like, if I use the example of going to a mentor, you come into a mentorship, you learn how to do content, you learn how to do DM outreach, and you learn how to do a sales script on a call, and you learn how to charge people more money and charge people up front, like just business. Whereas like what I did was create a 10, 12 module course that basically teaches people everything you need to know about being the best possible coach can be, which isn't just training and nutrition either. It starts off with the mindset of, if you want to become self-employed, you are going to have to learn how to control your mind, in the sense of, you're going to have a lot of limiting beliefs, you're going to have a lot of insecurities, you're going to have a lot of comparison. You're going to have to learn to overcome a lot of like things. And people glamorize, working, for yourself. There's a lot of challenges that come with that. So like, the first module of the course is, how do you manage your time and how do you manage your headspace? Like, that's the most important thing. Then I partnered up with 7 or 8 different brand partners in the industry. So like supplement sponsors, people that set apps up, social media profiles, graphic designers. So like they've got every possible need that they can to make the business how it needs to. Then it was like, how do you actually create your offer? How do you understand your niche? How do you understand your market? Then it's how do you actually build the marketing strategy around that? Then your sales, and then your onboarding. So like that's all the business side. Then there's 4 or 5 modules of in-depth training, nutrition. So like, how do you actually set up your training program? Do you actually understand the science of fat loss, gaining phases? Then it's like, how do you manage clients, communicate with clients? What are the different means of communication? How do you understand client psychology? How do you understand that there's different people? So like, you'll have people who have an all or nothing mindset, people who are really overconfident in themselves. How do you manage these different types of people? How do you manage the people that self-sabotage themselves and are really negative? Because you'll experience like, you have all these different people, but they've all got such different psychological aspects, and you can't coach one person the same as another. You have to understand what motivates someone, what holds them back, what their limiting beliefs are, because anyone can give someone a diet and training plan, but how you communicate that and how you guide people through that change, like that's what makes a good coach. Anyone can do a diet and training plan, obviously within reason. Like there's a lot to it, and I don't want to make it sound super easy, but there's a level to that. But the real value for me of like the difference between a good coach and an elite coach is their ability to guide people through that change. And obviously experience is a huge thing, but like coaches need to learn about different behavior types, different mindset patterns and things like that. And then also just guiding people how to go through diet phases, fat loss phases, but like understanding how to do certain things if people plateau, not just dropping calories, understanding blood work, metabolic health. Like it's a 25-hour long course. It's hard to articulate it's everything I possibly know about coaching in one course. But then the next kind of step to that, which is something that I'm building out now, is how can I help future-proof coaches, which is something that we spoke about a little bit before off air, because like I think we both agree, like the industry is a very different place. Like, I mean, the world's a different place from 2020, but the industry particularly, wow, it's completely and utterly transformed in the last 5 years. Social media is a different place. There's AI now. There's GLP drugs now. So fat loss is becoming easy because people have got accessibility to, Manjaro, Ozempic, like retatrutide. Peptides have become really glamorized. So it's like, if your intrinsic value as a coach is diet and training plans, you will not have a job in a few years. And I stand by that. That's not scaremongering. Like, you will not have a job because you need to understand human psychology and what the direction of the fitness industry is going. And some people will say, well, I'm fine. I've got clients and whatever. And like, they don't take the responsibility. But I'm like, soon things will change because training and nutrition becomes a commodity very soon, where anyone can get access to it. It's no longer as valuable. So it's like, what more do you bring to the table? And that's what I'm really trying to help my guys do, is basically future-proof themselves, of having the actual skill set that I believe it will stand the test of time. Because I think coming in from 2020, you could, as we said, just look good, have a good social media, have a set of apps, like sell a plan, know a little bit about training nutrition, and make a good living off it. But I think that's going to change very soon. And I think unless you're actually going to level up your skill set, I think you're in for a rude awakening. So I think a lot of people have had an easy ride in it. Yeah,
I think so too. It's becoming more saturated. And not only that, with the way technology is going, it's becoming so different. And I think the biggest thing that makes a coach good is normally, I did a presentation on it years ago, but 2 of the things was your ability to connect with people and communicate with people.
Yeah.
If people don't feel connected to you, they're never going to stay. If people, like, you could sign someone up 3 months, 6 months, whatever. But the best way to know if you're a coach, the best way to know if you're actually a good coach is if people are staying longer than that. Because that way you're actually bringing more value than just nutrition and exercise. Because once they know that in 6 months, they can just do it alone.
Yeah, they're going for a diet. And like a lot of my clients, like I stepped foot in the gym in 2020 and half of them I still got now. Like most of my clients, 5-6 years now. Like the average I think on Stripe is 3 years. Like that's an average that someone will stay with me. And that's not because of training and nutrition.
No, of course,
because, I help them through other aspects of life and they generally feel like they become a better person. And again, that's how you communicate. That's how you instill something in people. That's how you instill the belief in people. It's how you motivate people. It's how you discuss things outside of training. Like it's everything. It's the whole package. And it's hard to kind of teach that in a course, of course. Like there's a level of experience that kind of comes with that. But yeah, like it's the overall skill set. So that's kind of the next kind of step that I'm doing now, which is classed as the future of coaching, of how can I basically teach people these traits that I think will future-proof themselves against AI, GLPs, accessibility of information, all of this stuff.
No, I love that, because it's so different to what other coaching mentors do.
Yeah.
Not just, let's be honest, the business side, right? Like, that's great, but how can you actually build a community, build connection? I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so right now you've got this one goal of changing people's lives, coaching, but now you've got your personal life where you're focused on a lot more health, where you've gone from looking good to performing good, and now you're doing a lovely Hyrox.
Oh, I'm going to give it a go, yeah.
When's that?
Living by the Whoop Band. So I've signed up for the Hyrox Pro. Don't know why I've signed up for a Pro. There was no spaces in the open. But it's in Amsterdam in January the 21st, I think it is. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Amsterdam. Going to have a little bit of a trip for it. Get it vlogged, enjoy it. And I just needed a new challenge. Like that's the big thing since stepping back from bodybuilding. I just needed something to get my teeth stuck into. I've done 6 months of kickboxing, done running, different things. Like when that was like my whole thing of like just the progress, I just needed something else. And like, yeah, Hyrox is now the thing, but it's not getting any easier. I've been doing it 6 weeks and I fucking still can't run.
Well, 6 weeks of running is fine, but like I think when you've had no mechanics of running or doing anything, and you've just, let's be honest, it's just pure weights. It's very different.
Yeah, you're just a big stiff idiot. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's it. And like bodybuilding, you lift in such linear planes. Like you lift from here to here, you lift from here to here. Yeah. Like, there's nothing functional about it. Like moving any other direction than in a straight line, you are fucked.
Outside of running, what do you find the hardest? What movements do you find the hardest?
I love like row machine and skier, but at the minute, because I'm still pretty big, like I get back pumps. I mean, people don't understand probably what that is unless you've like been to a certain size. When you get big, you become really immobile, and like your lower back just blows up off anything. So I'm like, I've got the cardiovascular ability, I'm fit, but like my lower back is screaming on so much stuff. So like, yeah, row machine, ski ergs, fucking burpee broad jumps. Can't jump. I can do I'm good at burpees. Ask me to do the jump part.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Paulina, every time I just take a step and then I'll do another one. She's like, no, Joe, jump. And I'm like, yeah, well.
Well, those burpee broad jumps at Hyrox can be very fun.
Yeah. They're going to be humbling. I keep telling myself, I need to start jumping. I'm like, I'll wait till about 4 weeks before and then I'll start. Just don't like do it in public, like an idiot.
Yeah. No, honestly, man, forget about it. Like, you put yourself out there anyway, so you can never look like an idiot. You put yourself out there and everything else, right? And
well, yeah, I guess jumping's at least more recent.
Yeah. And like, is there another go after that? Will you do this Hyrox just for this one time, or do you think that'll be a new sport and a new competition for you?
I like to get good at things, really. So like, I think it'll depend. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm still 95 kilos. I'm relatively heavy, and I'm only 5'6". So like, I'm still a lump to some extent. I'm not a Hyrox build, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a 60, 70 kilo like fast runner, and it's a running event at the end of the day. So I'm not under any illusion that I'm going to be some Hyrox superstar, but like, I just want to get better. I just think like there's the meaning of life comes from just doing something, setting a goal, and like it's the journey. I think everyone always attaches it to like the destination. Anything in life, like the goal's never about it. It's about who you become along the way. And like, I just want to push myself. And like, that's all it is for me. It's just a challenge. And I think the thing that stood out to me is like how humbling and hard it is. Like you kind of, the bodybuilding notion towards CrossFit is like laughing at CrossFit.
Yeah.
Laughing at Hyrox. Oh, it's easy, like CrossFitters. And then when you actually do it, you're like, fucking, this is
rough.
humbling.
Yeah,
it's rough.
But like, if you ever did like the CrossFit stuff, you'd pick that up way quicker. Like the cleans maybe a bit easier.
Yeah, the weightlifting side of things.
Yeah, because you got the strength. It's just a bit of technique and you'll be fine. But when it comes to that cardio side, it's completely different.
Yeah, and like I've hammered cardio for years. Like I'll do cardio every single day for the last 10 years. Like cardio is like my thing. I just enjoy it from a mental aspect. But it's very different to sitting on a bike or standing on a Stairmaster. Like it's not the same. Like,
no.
You can't compare it.
It's not the same intensity at all.
No. Like, it doesn't matter how good you can fucking sit on it. Like, yeah, it's been humbling. But I've been doing a lot of like watt bike stuff at the minute, like tempo stuff, and that is Humbling, man. Humbling.
And how do you feel about your training now compared to before when you're like competing and had one goal and one purpose? Does your training feel differently now, even though you're still going to go compete?
No, I'm a little bit psycho. Anyone who's trained with me like in person, like I only really have like one level, and I don't say that to think I'm cool. Like I just don't know how to train any different. It's like I still train like an idiot when it comes to bodybuilding. Like I'll still take a set to death on leg press, and I'm like, there's no need for me to do that anymore. But like I don't know how else to train. So like really, like people always say to me like, why are you still training like that? And I'm like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know how else to train. Yeah. So yeah, like the bodybuilding side stayed within me, like it's ingrained within me. But like it got boring when I was just doing it on its own because I'm not progressing. So it's like, how can I do other things? So it's like just setting myself little goals. I did a bit of powerlifting, a bit of kickboxing. Like I just think you always need something. Now it's Hyrox. Then I might do a photo shoot prep. Just something that's small goal. Like yeah, it's not standing on stage in a pair of pants anymore, but it's something that I can work towards. And that's the thing for me. Like I always feel like I need to be progressing towards something. If I don't, I feel empty. Like I need something.
Is there a long-term goal? I know you said there's loads of little goals, but is there a long-term fitness goal for you?
Not necessarily in fitness, no, not anymore. Just generally doing it to stay healthy, feel good within myself. There's no like real like end point now, end destination, which is actually quite nice. You know what I mean? Like I think the discipline and like the intrinsic values that bodybuilding taught me, I think the big one is like your ability to delay gratification, which is like when starting a new business, I think the big thing is like if you can pick up all those traits of discipline and like working towards something and not expecting immediate results and continuing to like push that, like if you can apply the same lessons you've had into business or into personal life, like that's going to be the best teacher in life. So like I'm grateful for it that it gave me so much, because it really did. Like it was the best teacher on a personal trait and self-development point in so many ways. But like just picking that up and applying it to other things now, like that's where the real value for it comes.
No, I love that. And I think as well, like you can tell from the way you speak and the way you were to now, it's like a completely different person. Yeah. Like a completely different person.
If you go back on my Instagram and even watch me like 2 years, like granted, I've filmed a long course, I've done loads of podcasts, like I can articulate, I can speak, but like my whole demeanor and language and everything has completely shifted over the last couple of years. And yeah, like I feel like a completely different person since step back from bodybuilding. It's not like, oh, just stop taking some gear and that's it. Yeah. Like that whole life, I sit in an ice bath for fucking 45 minutes at 3 degrees. Like
You've done that? 45 minutes?
Yeah, I meditate, like I sit in ice baths 3 days a week. Like I meditate, daily. I'll never miss an affirmation in the morning. Like, practice gratitude every day. Like my whole life, just like my whole way that I conduct myself is just different. But I don't think it would be that way if I didn't have the discipline that bodybuilding taught me.
No, I love that.
Applied it to mental performance.
No, I love that. And what about on a business standpoint? I know you said you want to change coaches in the next 5 years and really change that. Is there an actual goal there? Is there a numbers, numeric goal? Is there a awareness goal? Is there something there for you that is easy to measure?
Good question, that, because it's hard to measure like impact in that sense. And like I never want to do it from a numeric standpoint for reasons that I spoke about, because I'm like, I'll just get attached to numbers. But I mean, I'd love to say like maybe 1,000 coaches. Like I think it'd be an amazing thing to see the impact of that, because if 1,000 people coach 10, 20, 30, 40 people, like the impact of that is huge. And I'm already starting to see people coming from like America and Australia, which is really cool. So yeah, I just want to be known for what I actually want to bring, and like that was the whole thing. I didn't want to be known as Joe the big steroid bodybuilder anymore. Like I want to be known as someone who genuinely wants to provide something to the world, and actually provide a level of benefit and education. So like it's been a transition, but I feel like I'm just kind of taking a step into that now, where I'm becoming more of like that educator. But I've got a long way to go.
No, I love that. I planned a little game called Natty or Not. Do you want to call people out and you fine with that? Okay, so we're going to start with.
Hopefully, I know the people.
Some of them are CrossFit athletes.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know any CrossFit.
You don't know any of them?
I don't know a single CrossFit.
You don't know Matt Fraser, Tia Claire Toomey. Okay, you don't know any of them.
I know zero about CrossFit. This game's going to be absolute shame.
No, it's fine. Well, that one we can skip.
If you had a picture, I'd be able to.
Oh, no. So what we'll do is we'll go to the influencers then, even better. Okay, because there's two.
You do know I live under a rock though, so I might not be very good at this.
No, like I would say these are like these are fitness influencers or just well known, right?
Right. Yeah.
So Natty or Not, Jake Paul.
No,
Okay. Sam Sulek.
definitely not. No.
Jesse James West.
Pass. Who's that?
Okay, you don't know who he is. It's fine. Oh no, I put this name down. I don't know why I put that. Because I said as a joke, Mike O'Hearn.
No, exactly. No. I'm sick of him saying that he is now.
Yeah, that's also true. I actually put Logan Paul.
I mean, I don't think they are. I think they're now. They're probably not, though, are they? But I perceive them to be.
Then you've got Matt Does Fitness from the UK.
Doesn't ring a bell.
You don't know? Okay. You are this is not useful when...
Very uncultured, you know. I live under a rock. I was saying this before. I literally sit in my apartment. I go to the gym in Circle Mall. I go downstairs to Spinneys. And that's me.
Okay, I'll try two more and see. Mike Thurston, I think his name is.
Yeah, no, I think he's on gear.
Okay. And this last one, very easy. Larry Wills.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, that was just it. Some of them you don't know, which is funny. I'm surprised about Logan Paul because I think just because he's in WWE, he could be.
Yeah, potentially.
Just for performance basis.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure to look a certain way.
So the way we end the podcast is rapid fire questions.
Okay.
I'm just it's not always rapid fire, but try our best.
Yeah,
right?
I'll make it as fast as I can.
Yeah. What is one PD myth that annoys you the most?
One PD. Oh, this is not going to be rapid fire now, is it?
No, it's not. We try, but it's not.
PD myth that annoys you the most. That you can take orals only. You shouldn't take orals only. If you take any level of a cycle, you need to take a testosterone basis because anything that you take from an exogenous format, you're going to suppress your natural production of testosterone. You're going to produce your LH and your FSH. So anything that you take, you should be supplementing alongside exogenous testosterone. So that don't take oral only cycles because you don't like injecting. Like it's actually not good for you because you bottom out your testosterone and your estrogen, and then after it, you're in a pickle. So yeah, don't do that.
Okay. What is your favorite Hyrox style workout you've ever done?
Oh, last week's. It was an every minute on the minute version. I enjoyed that.
Every minute on the minute is always fun, I think.
Yeah.
They're my favorite styles. And what is your hardest moment in bodybuilding?
I think it was the realization when I take a step back and when I moved to the bar that I wouldn't be going to be as good as I thought I would be. I was always told that I'm going to end up on the Olympia stage. Like, I was a very good bodybuilder, but I reached like a ceiling of potential. And I think that realization of like, I've reached my genetic potential. Like I can get a little better, but like I ain't going to be as good as I thought I was. And like it humbles you, that humbles your ego a lot. And a lot of people still chase it. They're like, oh, next year I'm going to be bigger, I'm going to be better, I'm going to keep progressing. So yeah, I think it was having the realization that you poured 10 years into something and you're not as good as you think you are.
I agree. So I was, in CrossFit, same thing. Like you realize very early, I'm not making the CrossFit Games. I'm not making the finals.
Yeah.
Semi-finals, yeah, maybe. But finals, it's not happening.
And you can dedicate your life to it. And that's the hard thing. And I mean, it's probably the same in CrossFit. You can dedicate so many years of your life to something, but really you don't know how good you are until you've done 5 years of work. Because really you don't see your potential until like you've actually put in the work. It's very rare that in the first 6 months you're going to, predict where you're going to be.
Yeah.
It requires 5 years of work. So it's, you need to enjoy the process of what you're doing.
No, I love that. And you get to shout out who you want now. Who are 3 coaches that are actually incredible coaches here in Dubai that you'll gladly say, go to them for classes, go to them, they've worked with you, that you think are truly good coaches?
Oh, you put me on the spot here.
Look, maybe not 3. You can throw 1 name or 5 names, whatever you want. You don't need to if you don't want to individualize someone.
That's bad because no one actually springs to the top of my head, but I'm sure there's a lot of very good coaches. It's different because I honestly wouldn't know. Pass.
Okay, that's fine. And also, like, even people you work with, you don't just individualize 1 or 2, right? I get it. And is there a big regret that you have on your fitness journey?
No. I don't think you should ever live with regrets. I think you should, if you're happy for the place you're in, like, I always believe that every single event and every single crossroads and every single decision got you to where you are now. And you would never be the person you are right now. So, like, never regret anything in life. If you're happy and you become the person you want to, never even think about regrets.
I love that. And what is one quote you live by?
Control the controllable. never allow yourself to stress about something that you can't control. The ability to regulate your emotions is the single most important trait of a human being. And what I mean by that is never allow something else in your life or somebody else dictate your emotions, because you are handing your power away. Always control the controllable. If you can't control it, it's not in your direct control, don't spend a second worrying about it.
That's so good. That's so good. And the last question is, for anyone listening, if you could summarize the podcast in one sentence for them to take away from this, what would it be?
If you've listened, I would just genuinely, hand on heart, say, wherever you are in your life right now, whatever your goal is, I would personally just say, set a goal, and what everything we spoke about revolves around one thing. It is the sacrifices you prepared, because I've made so many sacrifices in my life to where I am right now. Don't ever ask yourself what that goal is. Ask yourself, what are the sacrifices you're prepared to get to make that happen? And how do you do that? And how do you actually bring a goal to life? Well, you reorient your life in every possible way to make the probability that your goal will come to life. And if you can do that, you are genuinely sort of honoring your higher power. You're honoring your higher self. And I don't think there's anything that's more practical to someone than that, is reorient every single one of your behaviors day to day to work towards that goal that gives you a purpose. And if you can do that, you will live a fulfilled life.
Man, that's amazing. And what are your socials for anyone out there that wants to follow you, maybe get in touch at all?
Yeah, so Instagram is coached by Cross _ coach creator _ as well. You see that in my profile. And then I do host a mental performance podcast. It's not massive. I've got about 400 subscribers. But I speak all things about mental performance, a lot of mindset stuff, and that is Built Different by Joe Cross on YouTube.
I love that. Thanks for coming on. It's been good to hear your story and hear a lot of things that no one's willing to speak about. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, mate. Thank you so much.